Thanks for that. Okay. Even just now I got to know that I have not switched. I have not recorded. Okay, so let me repeat once again. Like it's basically like this. So you're going to develop your product by considering all riskiest assumptions, and based upon the risk assumptions, by having a faith on your assumption, you're going to conduct a smoke test. Like I told you about you attending a mock quiz or mock placement interview, just to pre-test before you appear for the real examination, right? Like the examples what we discussed about the VAT Moodle or the MS Teams quiz what you took. So these are the basic things. So here we are going to launch the product, and if anything is wrong, we are going to pivot. Pivot means we are going to take the deviation and enter the right path. Otherwise, we are going to stick on to your plans and proceed further. We call as persevere. Okay, so how to tune this activities, right? So it's for anything like marketing activity or any activity. We are having a small model, growth model. It's called as 3A model, which is actionable, accessible, and auditable. We should have something accessible, like we are going to frame a questionnaire, or we are going to frame some guidelines which by which I'm going to measure my product. So that is very important. Okay, then I should not consider some vanity metric like I should not like think no, my product is very good, I will go on with only my idea. It's not like that. So if you're thinking like that, your product will some of the if you're having a failure, your failure will be masked up. Say there will be always around some good, big leaders. There will be some people telling that no leader, you're so good. You are the only one who can do this. All these things that they'll do, and they will fail to highlight the mistakes what the leader is making. So that is something like this. Even for a product, if you're thinking your product is great, some of your mistakes may not come out. So first, to evaluate your product after launch, you should have a set of guidelines or set of rules against which you're going to evaluate your product. I can evaluate my students based upon the knowledge what they gain in this course. It should not be about whether they will be able to launch a product successfully, whether they're going to be an entrepreneur in future or not. That I'm not sure. But my idea is to tell how the things will work if you're an entrepreneur. So if I'm so my measurement should be only towards the knowledge what my students has gained. It should not focus on the ability of, it should not question the ability of my students being an entrepreneur or not. Okay, so accessible, like it should be easy to understand, and you should be able to record that the metrics, like whatever you're measuring, you should be able to measure that, and it should be a presentable data. Auditable, again, if your data is good, you should be able to correct your data, or you should be able to evaluate your data. So you should have a auditable data. So these are just fundamentals. I'm just moving bit higher. So what is basically an MVP? It's a product that can be minimally viable if it has some features to be validated within the market and brings the core value for early adopters. Say for example, any mobile phones, they launch the first version, and they will, early adopters is what normally I will say them, they are within the age group of some 18 to 24 or 25, like the new engineers who will be earning, or the new employers, right? They will buy the product, they will use the product, and they will give the results to you. Say for example, nowadays we have a lot of movie review websites, right? So people review your movie, and they're trying to tell what is good and bad about the movie. So something like this, a minimum viable product is, you're going to launch a product with some basic categories, and you launch the product in the market. And if you see that the product is getting good response, we can commercialize the idea. If not, we have to change the product. We have to make changes in the idea, or we have to change the product itself sometimes. But this yeah, this minimum viable product doesn't mean it's, if I want a mobile phone, I won't release a mobile phone with only a facility to call and messages. It will have all the facilities, but it is going to be the like it will be the not the full version. It need not be the full version. That should be the right word. It need not be a full version. Rather, it could be a test piece, or a demo piece, right? We call that, no, if you go to a mobile showroom, they'll give you a demo piece, right? You can work on the mobile, and you can see, but that need not be a complete product. It will have the features of the product, but it need not be a complete product. This launching of a minimum viable product is just to understand whether my idea is good and whether my idea my team my customers are going to like my idea. Like it's like just pitching the idea in the market. Okay, so let's see how it is going to work. Say for example, if I'm running a restaurant, let's take an example of a restaurant. I'm running a restaurant and I want to add one new dish to my menu. So what I'm doing is I will put some, I say, okay, it's already lunchtime. So let's take the example of a nice biryani or something like that. I am already giving chicken biryani and mutton biryani, and I want to add some Hyderabadi biryani to this list, and just I put that in the menu. Okay, so what happens is that whenever my customer comes, okay, they see, okay, the new items they find Hyderabad biryani. So if I just by putting the name, I'm not actually I'm not, there's no actual product like Hyderabadi biryani in my restaurant. But what I'm telling is that I'm just putting in the menu card and I'm checking out how many times my customers are asking for the particular type of biryani or a particular variant of biryani. So if you say, for example, if my more number of customers are preferring to have that Hyderabadi biryani or something, just for an example, something like that, then it shows that the customers are really interested in that product. So here, what happens? This is called the minimum viable product. I didn't launch the product. I don't have anything about the product in my company, but just by putting a name, I am testing that whether my customers will prefer this product or not. Okay, because how passionate my customers are ready to buy this product. Just say, for example, you take case of any launch of any mobile phones in the market. They'll just put the specifications in the market, in the websites, in social medias. They'll create hype about the product. They do a lot of advertisements, like etc. Promotion activities will be done. Once the customers prefer, okay, the customers prefer this product because this has 64 megapixel of cameras, or 48 megapixel of camera, front and back rear, selfies are good, you can play a very good graphics uploaded game like PUBG and all. It's very smooth and easy to use. Automatically we just promise something, and with that data, depending upon my customer response, I can launch the product in the market. So that product we call as minimum viable product. It sometimes it need not be a product at all. That is also very important. So what is the goal of thing? This is just to test your hypothesis, right? So validate your opportunity hypothesis. Okay, if the customers are accepting that product, you can launch the product straight away in the market. If not, you have to rework on your product. Okay, what are the benefits? By without going for an actual product, I can save my time, resources, and all my values. Whatever I investing, all my investments can be saved, and I don't want to waste anything in by investing on it. It's not like I make 1,000 products, I release in the market and test. You don't need to, like, you can just make one or two products first initially with available resources. You can leave it in the market. You can test the product whether it's going to work or not. So resource optimization is one advantage. That means you don't need to invest anything high. Then you will come to understand early customer acquisition. That is whether what is the feedback from your customers from the early adopters. Early adopters is a segment of market or a customer segment. We call them early adopters because there are, you may know, some of us, whatever is released in the market, they want to have it first in their hand. Say it may be a mobile, it may be a car, it may be anything. Some things we call, some people are like so much gadget freaks, right? They whatever release in the market, they want to have that piece in their hand. So these are the early adopters who will give you a very good feedback by, because they would have used all products or electronic gadgets. So they will give you, in case of electronic gadgets or in case of mobile phones, they'll give you a very good feedback, and they'll recommend the product their friends and family. And even sometimes nowadays people are making a lot of videos unboxing some mobiles. All these things are done. So these are the early adopters who are going to give you a good feedback or a bad feedback about the product. Okay, so next we can get an idea about value proposition. Value proposition here, I mean, actually testing or understanding what my customer actually is having, right? Actually request from a product. So what is the expectation? I can understand if I launch a minimum product from my customers. Says again, coming back to the example of a restaurant, he launches a typical variety of biryani or pizza, and they ask you the feedback. How do you feel, sir? What is it? How do you feel? Anything improvement we have to make? If there is a real good entrepreneur or is a real good engineer, he will ask for the feedback to correct the mistakes. So that's what he has done. Even your mother does that, right? After she cooks something, she asks you how you feel this, how tasty is the food, whether the sugar should be high or the salt should be less, something like that. She asks you, right? That is like minimum. What is the expectation you can have from the product? You can define that. Again, you can clear, you can it's a platform, or it will be the launch pad, test bed for your investors to invest on your product. Okay, and it is going to give how your product can be viewed in the market, in what level of profit it can make. It can optimize again on the resources what you're going to use. And if anything is there, you can even make a product to fit for the particular market. Okay, say for example, in Tamil Nadu, people would love some geographical taste will be there. They may love wearing a sari or a dhoti. So you can make some product close to this. So it will have a good market, right? Like geographical based products can be made, or tailor which my customers will accept. Okay, those kind of products can be made. Say for example, that's why a lot of mobile phones, if you see, they will launch the product for keeping Indian mindset or Indian economic condition. They will always try to give the products in affordable price. Even you say take this OnePlus, they started by giving mobile phones in the price of 25,000, and now again they have released a product for 25,000 in the market. Like I think it's OnePlus Nord, NORD, that product. They have released that product in the market. So all these are the benefits of MVP. Okay, so that's a classic example which you can find in all websites. Even I added a video to this link, as a link to this, for if you have any extra time, you can go to the link and you can check that. There some classic examples of MVP, that is minimum viable product. And this one example is mail trap. So if you could see, sometimes our mailbox would have been flooded with some spam mails, which we don't really know why they are sending, who is sending, why we are receiving that. We don't know that. So this is one kind of a mail trap. It was something like a college project developed by someone. Like what they do is, instead of sending to many people, you can send all the mail to this mail trap. So what happens is that this takes it's like it will act as a customer, right? It collects all the spam mails, and it's like it's for the testing. So if how to send this spam mail to many, instead of sending to many people, they can send to this mail trap and test. So this is one simple product what they developed, but later this took the market. So nowadays, you could see, I mean, different policies of government, government is preventing the promotional WhatsApp messages, or promotional what do you call this? Previously, our messages inbox would be flooded with a lot of advertisements, but now government of India strictly prohibited that. Same way, in some countries, you can't send emails just like that. So all this mail trap is to test the spam mails. They have a mail trap system which will prevent the instead of sending to the customers directly, they will send to the mail trap and they can test it. This is a funny project what they developed. Instead of sending it to mail, they send only to this mail trap. And later, first they made it as free. Later they made us the paid version. Otherwise, we can just take the another example. Even Flipkart worked like this. Even Amazon worked like this. Dropbox is one good example for this MVP. Even take the matter of Geo. So Geo, when entered the market, they told that the SIM card is free. Okay, then they told that internet is free for some certain number of days. I don't remember, 1 GB per day. I think that was at that time. So they had some relaxations in their thing. But then what happened? Now almost I feel that every Indian has a one Geo SIM with him. That's why the share value has went up, and he has become in a short span of time he has become one of the richest man in the world. Okay, at least in Asia is the number one, I guess. Okay, so that's how it works. So a simple idea can turn into a big hit or a big flop sometimes. Okay, so what are the myths about lean startup management, or what is the myths about MVP. So some people think that if I'm using this tool, I can reach the market early. No, it's not always right. Then MVP, they believe that if I launch a minimum viable product, it will attract more customers and money. No, it depends upon the success of your product. What actually MVP is the first idea which is going to create an impact among the customers, and it's going to create some interest in the customer to buy the product, but it's not assuring that it will bring good customers to you, good number of customers to you. And people sometimes think MVP is a product with one valuable features, because we always work with one riskiest assumptions. So it's not like that the product is going to give only one feature. It may include any number of features, but it will always try to provide solution for the riskiest assumption what you made. Okay, MVP contains as many features as you can afford. No, see, I'm telling that it need not have only one feature, and it's again meaning that it can include many features. No, it can even run with one feature, but ultimate aim is to see that the value what is addressing value what is giving to the customer, that is very important. So MVP means it's not about one feature alone. It can be more than one feature, but ultimate aim is to how much impact or how much value it will create to the customer, how much value proposition it can promise the product, how much value the product can deliver to the customer. So that is what we are looking into MVP as with. Okay, then it's not that if MVP is not successful, your product will not be successful. No, because 9 out of 10 products fail in the market. So if your MVP is failing, it's not the failure of your business. It's just an eye opener for you to understand that why your product is going to fail, or why your product will fail in the market. So don't worry if your MVP, minimum viable product, is failing. You can go for again testing your product. Then MVP is a fit for building a small product for cheap, because a lot of people what they believe is that if I'm manufacturing good product, see, this is the ideas are very simple. If you are manufacturing a good product and you're very fast, you can't in making the product and reaching the market very early, your product cannot be cheap. You can't make a good product in a fast phase, and you can't afford give it at the affordable price to your customers. If you're making your product fast and it's very cheap, definitely it's not going to be a good product. If you're making a very good product and if you're making it's a very super cheap, you can't reach the market very fast. I mean, you don't have a very good fast market. Okay, so it should be always the combination of, or it should be a triangular fact of good, fast, and cheap. So if you're launching a MVP product, is not doesn't mean that you're going to launch you have to launch a cheap product. You can even launch a very good quality product, but it is just going to trying to reduce the future failures of your venture. Okay, so because it's going to be a foolproof idea if your product is having a very good market when you launch it. So that's why MVP plays a very important role in deciding the fate of your product. And we should first discuss. So when we speak about features, we should decide whether what are the features my product will have. So for that, we can adopt this methodology called as Moscow methodology. Okay, you're going to do this in your digital assignment also for the first digital assignment. Moscow, it's just a attractive word we have made like this. So it is must have. What are the features my customers will expect from my product? What are the features I should have? What are the features I could have? And what are the features my product will not have? Right? Must, should, could, and won't. So these are the things you have to classify your features. So the assumptions, whatever you are making, are see, you can say that my product will have, say for example, mobile phone. It can have a camera of how many megapixel, RAM for how many GB, a storage capacity for how much GB, and what is the type of key display I'm going to use, what etc. What kind of battery I'm going to use, what kind of charger I'm going to provide. So these are several features. Out of these features, what will be the compulsory features I'm going to have, must have? What are the features I should possess? And what could other features I could have added to this my mobile phone? what are the features my mobile phone will not deliver. Say for example, in OnePlus, I think in the from the sixth version, 60, 70, they are not providing the facility to have a plug-in headphones, right? You can't use headphones in your 60 and 70. The slot they have removed, and you are not, you can't put extra memory card. Am I right? I'm not good with mobiles, but still I'm just assuming, just a comparative things whatever I do from the market. Okay, so you can understand what I'm telling. So they are removing certain features, they are adding some features. That all depends upon the Moscow methodology. What are the features I should have, I should not have, I could have, I won't have. So all these things will determine the things what you should deliver. Then how to build a MVP product. This is very, very important. First, to empathize. What you are going to do, you are going to do a comprehensive research. You are going to understand what are the problems that your product is going to face, and who are the customers you are going to address, what kind of problem you are going to resolve, whether your MVP will be solving that problem, and what sort of users will be interested in your product, like who will be your basic customers, who will be your main focus customers. Then what is the solution, what is available in the market, how innovative is the solution to the existing problem. So all these things you can decide by conducting a comprehensive research before you think about an idea of launching a MVP, that is minimum viable product. Then you are going to adopt Moscow methodology to identify MVP features and prioritize them. That is, before you are doing some assumptions or what are the things you are going to deliver to the to your customers, you can use this Moscow methodology, like must, should, could, won't. You can use this terminologies to define your product features, or what are the features you are going to promise to your customers, what will be there and what will not be there. Like specifications, you can take the example of specification of mobile phones, what we discussed. Then MVP approach selection. This is what I told the example of a restaurant without preparing Hyderabadi biryani, just adding Hyderabadi biryani to their menu. They can test whether the customers would love to have the biryani or not. That is no product. There is no product, but still you can launch the product. You can ask, you can see how much, what will be the response from the customers. Next, we have product mockup. Product mockup is just the example of your VAT, Moodle, or the Microsoft Teams quiz what you took up. So it is just a product. You tested it, you felt whether it's working or not. Similarly, we had Digipad exams. We tested it whether it could be successful or not. We even tested digital examinations. Like you write an examination, all the answer sheets are scanned, and the faculties can evaluate online. We tested that. That's one product mockup test. Or otherwise, sometimes we can test the MVP for only one feature. Say for example, I'm making a water heater or a water heater. I can test whether how much temperature my temperature of water, or how quick my water heater can make good quality hot water for different applications. So like testing the product for only one feature can also be done. That is also possible. Like you can test without a product, with your product, or with at least with for only one particular specification of your product. Like I can make a mobile phone, I can test, I can launch a product and ask my customers only about how you feel about the camera. So that is one way. Then okay, then how to evaluate the ideas based upon the available resources. That is also right. So you may have, say, I can ask to evaluate about the temperature of water, what is being produced by my water heater. But to do that, I should have a thermometer, or I should know how my there should be measurement scale. Basically, there should be a measuring scale to do this. Then we should identify the successful criteria. That's what I told you. Like what are the metrics? You should not have vanity metrics. You should have the metrics which you can do. Like if you're giving a product, to understand that whether the product is going to be successful or not, you should have some measurement criteria, and that measurement criteria should be realistic. You should not tell just something like that. Imagine that's a child, and as soon as the child is born, we're telling him a doctor or an engineer. So that is not possible. You should have a certain metrics. Okay, if this guy is scoring this much in class 10th, this much in NEET examination, or this much in something like JEE, then we can tell that whether it's going to be an engineer or not. So the measurement scale should be always realistic. So what you are going to do after making this thing, so how to measure? Okay, so always the customers are the one who are going to rate your product. Okay, they are going to say for example, I'll give you one simple example. Sometimes the movie will not make very good in the first week. So after first week, the people after watching the movie, they'll tell to their friends, you see, you watched this movie of Amir Khan or Shah Rukh Khan, this movie was good, please go and watch in the theaters. So that's what we say, right? So but it spreads by the word of mouth, right? People say V8 is a good college with good university, they're providing a lot of job opportunities, please go and join. So that's how your brand value develops. Okay, so to achieve that, there are four things you have to do. That is goals. You have to define your goals, activities, task, job, or user stories. Okay, so if, because this will tell you whether to pivot or persevere, right? So goals are going to be towards your pivotal vision of your product. Okay, so because if you only if you have a goal, your activities will be depending upon the goal. Only if you complete the activity, if you to achieve your activity, you will have some task to be done. To have your task done, you should do some job, right? It's simple. If you want to become an engineer, you should take up your activity is to pursue engineering. Your task is to write the examinations. Your job is to do the cat examinations. Like cat examinations, you do the fat examinations, you clear all fat examinations, you get the degree, and ultimately you will get the goals reached. Okay, goal, activity, task, job. This is just the breakdown of things what you're going to do. Often jobs or will end up in user stories. So you could see that you can create story map. I could give a simple example. I had an opportunity of visiting this a shop by name called as Drunken Monkey, or you can even know that there's one ice cream shop opposite to the third gate. Like I had an opportunity taking my kid there. There you could see a lot of the sticky notes, right? The people write what they feel about the product. They love the product or they hate the product. They like write in a sticky boards, sticky notes, and they paste it on a board. So by looking at that, we know that okay, a lot of customers are coming to this restaurant or the ice cream shop, and they are loving the product actually. Same applies here, right? If you go to some KFC or something, I don't know, you have a bill which you can appreciating their service or something like that. You can click the bill. All these things are right. So these are like preparing the story map. Okay, so this is how it works. Okay, next, after that we are going to launch the product. Okay, after launching the product, you should get the first feedback. This is something like this, right? Nowadays there are a lot of movie review websites are there again, because I'm giving this example because you can closely relate yourself. Just after people coming out of the theaters, they'll give they'll put the mic in front of their mouth and ask, what do you feel about the movie? How is this movie? So sometimes the people give good feedback or bad feedback. So as soon as you launch the product, get the customers feedback. If it's good, you are happy. If it's negative, don't feel bad, because negative is also a result, because it will give you a chance to pivot. I use the word pivot. You can make the corrections and you can try succeeding, giving a successful product back to the market. So these are the things. Okay, now how to measure this performance metrics? First is feedback from users. That's what I told you. In the last step, after launching the product, you're going to collect the feedback from the customers. Okay, next we are going to calculate the net promoter score. Always your online websites are asking you to give the rating in the scale of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or the star ratings. Say for example, it's in the scale of 1 to 10. Normally net promoter score we are calculating in the range of 1 to 10, where if or 0 to 10, if you are getting a value from 0 to 6, 0 to 6, the people are not liking your product. If you are giving 8, 9 to 10, that means they are going to promote your product in the market. If anything above 0 is a good product, correct? If you're giving a rating of 0 to 6, people are not liking your product. If you're giving a very good rating 9 and 10, people are loving your product. But anything if you're getting above 0, that means your product is a good product. So the formula is how much people are liking your product, y, minus how many people are going to or disliking your product. Like, dislike, number of likes minus number of dislikes. Simple, like your Facebook post. How many people like your post, minus how many people who don't like who are dislike your post. So that is a good example for NPS. Similarly for a product. Then activations. Okay, so what it activates, right? The metric number 3. How what is the say, as I told you, the if the people are telling the movie is good, it will bring a lot of customers to the theaters and a lot of audience to the theaters, and your business is going to improve. Again, 100 people will tell the story to the 1,000 people, 1,000 people to the 10,000 people. So that's all how the brand value is basically built, right? So customers are very, say, take the example of Bahubali. People loved Bahubali movie. One people liked, he told to 10 people, 10 told to 100, 100 told to 1,000. The movie was a massive hit. Okay, so next we have active users. Like, say for example, this is like yeah, say for example Netflix. If the number of subscribers for a Netflix platform is increasing, or the Amazon Prime is increasing, or the number of users for a product is getting improved daily, day by day, these are like non-quantitative. Just by looking at the numbers, you can tell, okay, I have now my customer base is developing day by day. Many number of people are visiting my storeroom because of I have good number of activations, right? So all these things are very good examples. Then you can also calculate by monthly recurring revenue. Monthly recurring revenue is very very simple. How much you spend, how much money you make minus how much you are going to spend. It's simple as such. Monthly revenue, every month, how much I'm investing to deliver my service or manufacture my product, minus what are the expenses I'm paying for raw material, for the labor, for the rent, for the service charges, for the logistics, transportation of my goods. So what are I spending? So that will give you the monthly recurring revenue. That is investment minus money spent, like how much profit I make minus what are the expenses I make. So that will be giving you the monthly recurring revenue, because I'm calculating in the month, in a time span of a 30 days, that is 1 month. Then something I have called customer acquisition cost. Like some items you have to market very well to attract customers. It may be anything. It can be a Netflix, or it can be a movie. Movie, they do a lot of promotions. Restaurants, they do a lot of activities, or they give a lot of offers to attract customers. They say for VAT students, the 10% discount, 20% discount, because 10%, 20% is going to lose from the profit. So he is going to directly or indirectly lose some of his profit to attract the customers. So how much it is that? So by spending 100 rupees, how many number of customers I can get? By spending 1,000 rupees by distributing pamphlets, how much number of customers I can get? I am releasing an advertisement for 1 lakh rupees or 5 lakh rupees. How much number of customers I can attract? I'm investing on Shah Rukh Khan around like 10 crores for a big basket advertisement. How much will be my turnover? How much number of customers I can attract to overcome the cost what I put on Shah Rukh Khan. Then next thing we call as average revenue per user. Okay, if I'm attracting one customer, how much number of how much revenue I can get? Like if I'm getting one good customer, he will bring 10 customers. Like you go to a restaurant, the next time you go, you take your family. If you feel that the restaurant is good, or you take all your friends for your birthday party to that restaurant. So how many number of users you're going to you're going to have? For that number of users, how much the revenue you're making? So some people tell, okay, every day I get 100 customers in my if on an average 100 customers are visiting my restaurant, what is the profit I make? If 100 people are buying my mobile phone, what is the profit I can make? That is called as average revenue per user. Minimum one user will bring how much revenue to me, because this user is going to make promote. Okay, it's going to promote your business. So that's why, how if say normally we used to have that. If you're going to a haircut shop, normally we go regularly to that haircut shop because we feel that his service is better. Or for that matter, any parlor or any spa, for that matter, it is a very good, or beauty parlors for that matter, you can take this as an example. Because you go once, next time you take the customer, you take your friends, like that the business is going to grow on. So after launching your product, is going to be successful or is not going to be not successful. Don't worry about that. Still, your minimum viable product. If it's successful, you are happy. If it's not successful, you have to pivot. You can pivot and change the business idea or the model. Like that is, you have to change the business proposal, or you have to change the product for what you are going to deliver. Your deliverability has to be changed. Not the if your MVP is failing, that is not the failure of your business itself. It is just a chance for you to improve. Okay, it goes like this: acquisition, activation, retention, revenue. How do users find you? How do users have a great first experience? Whether the users are coming back to you? How are you able to make a good money? whether they are referring your product to the other customers. So this is what will determine A. We call it AA triple R. This is just a fancy words for jargons to understand how this is going to work. Okay, so what is going to happen? So always startups give you some runway. It's not run away, it's runway. Runway means you're going to sit there and like runway means here I mean if your product is failing, you have to pivot. But before pivoting, how much money is still left out? How much monthly you can, if you're making a loss, but by making this much quantity of loss, how long I will be able to stand in the market? That is very, very important. So with that money, what you can do is you can replan your activity, or you can restructure your product, and you can deliver the product into the right customers, learning from your mistakes. If you're learning from your mistakes, how well you can correct it, and in how much time limit you can launch the product, a good product to the customer. So that is going to be a startup's runway. Okay, to encourage this, you should not worry about vanity metrics. You should be clear, you should clearly define your metrics. You should not have any vanity metrics. You should have a correct hypothesis. Even if you're assuming things which is not correct, then you will result in incorrect hypothesis. And don't afraid of failures. It's a chance for you to improve. If you're having a successful market, don't worry, schedule the things and keep advancing in releasing the product to the market. So these are the types of pivot: zoom in, zoom out, look from inside, look from outside, create a platform, speak to your customer segment, know what your customers are really need of, change your channel of delivery, how good you can change the quick adoption of technology to reach the customers. All these things you can explore in order to pivot your idea. Okay, I'll give you one small example. Ashirwad Atta, correct? Ashirwad Atta, that was making a very big failure in early 2003 2004. And in 2004, there is one engineer come MBA guy from IIM Ahmedabad. Like he joined, he was hired by ITC company, which manufactures Ashirwad Atta. So what he did is he just told them to, they were doing a lot of promotion activities, but the product was miserable. It was failing a lot. What he did is he just explored the market, and that was the time when shopping malls or the supermarkets were picking up in India. So what happened? He told just to change the cover of the product. Then they gave this plastic cover with nice figures, which you can closely relate to your Indian culture and all these things. That's it. The product picked up like anything in the market. So that's what are the example of this channel of delivery. You should explore how you can deliver the product to the customers. So this is what we have for today's class. So MVP is just the basic fundamental product, pioneer version of your product with all functionalities, or with even one functionality you can get to the market. You give it to the customers, ask them to test it. If they feel okay, continue the product. If they don't feel that, you pivot from your idea. That means you have to change your idea, that means you're going in a wrong path. So pivot in the right direction and proceed. So that is what we have for this class, and that is MVP, that is minimum viable product. If you have any questions, I can take it now. We have 3 more minutes to go. Okay, so I'll consume 1 more minute. So this is your template, what is posted in your VTop as well as on your Teams page in files. This is what you have to fill it. So who will be your target customers? What is the actual problem? Define your problem. List all assumptions. Classify the assumptions. List down only the, after classifying, list down classification. You use the probability matrix what we gave, right? High probability, low impact, high probability on all these 4 conditions. List down the risk assumptions. Write a comprehensive research, like what is the problem? Define the problem here. Again, you're going to define the problem. You have to decide what are the features your MVP will possess, and which one you're going to do. Whether you're going to go with no product, you're going to with one feature, or whether you're going with a full product. What are the successful, like what are the metrics you're going to measure? If your product is a water bottle, what are the features of water bottle you will be testing? You'll be benchmarking. What are the features you're going to benchmark? Then you're going to write the goals, activities, job, and task of your product. Then you're going to launch the product. Just you can give an image of the product, and what is the feedback here. Just an image of your product or a service. You can post an image, and you can write what was the feedback of your customer. Then using that metrics like MRR or average customer revenue. All these things you can calculate. You can make a rough calculation, or assuming some values, you can do the calculations here. Then you could, based upon your calculation, you're going to tell me whether you're going to stick to the idea or you're going to take steps for improvement. If your idea is good, you're going to persevere, or if your idea is if failed in the market after launching your MVP, you're going to write what are the you're going to pivot. Then you're going to compare this to the learn, measure loop, and you're going to write a short story of your understanding. So this will, and you have to submit your assignments on 15th August. Okay, I know in between you have a test. Since this is a collective activity, already there are 7 people in your team. If each and everyone is writing one box, you can easily complete. There are around 3 plus 4. We have only 12 boxes here, so you have to fix. You can write as much as you want, but keep it in very simple sentences or even in words. That's enough. I don't want to have a big stories here. Only in understanding part, I need you to write a big story, and in comprehensive research, I need a big story, and that's it. Your problem definition in 1 or 2. Otherwise, 1 or 2 lines will do. Okay, so that's what we need to have in your assignment. Okay. Okay, now I can take the questions.